All right, my English 10 students, welcome to this video, which is about how to do the vocabulary that comes with almost every level in every quest, and how to set up your binder, what you need for that, and what the process is for getting that binder checked every quest. In most quests, you are going to see something that looks kind of like this, which is a list of academic vocabulary. So the important ideas and concepts that we're covering in class, they might be literary, they might be related to writing, they might be related to some of the ideas we're talking about, like culture, which is the theme of this year. And you're also going to see vocabulary from literature. So the things that the people are writing and saying in the texts that we are going to read, there are probably words in those that you don't know or don't know well. And I've pulled out a list of some of the ones that I think. Now, if along the way you come across a word in a text that you don't know or don't know well that's not on the list, you are welcome to use it. The list is not exclusive and exhaustive, okay? If you find something else, you will be able to do. Sometimes there are a lot of words, sometimes there are a few. But we'll talk about the examples from Quest 1, Level 1. We have academic vocabulary like anecdote, empathy, justify or justification, perspective, and transitions. So again, some of those are related to writing, like transitions. Some of them are related to the topic, things like empathy. From the literature, we have words like aesthetic, barbaric, contrived, equipage, euphony, inflection, innuendo, lucid, pantomime, savage, vicinity. And maybe you know some of those words, which is great, but there are probably other ones that you don't. I had to look up equipage or equipage. I don't know how, it's French-ish, so it's probably equipage, but I don't know, we're American. We Americanize things. Equipage? I don't know. Here's how this works. At the beginning of every level, you're going to pick up as many of these as you need. These are graphic organizers. One of them is a Freyr model for the academic vocabulary. One of them is a graphic organizer for words that you come across in the literature. But you're going to pick those up from the table at the front of the classroom for every level that has vocabulary. And you're going to, pick a certain number of words, and you're going to fill out those graphic organizers and hopefully get smarter. Here's specifically how each one works. The Freyr model for the academic vocabulary is pretty simple. You put the word that you are learning in the box in the middle, and then in the upper left-hand corner, you put the definition. Where do you get that definition? There are lots of places. You can look in a regular dictionary. I have a few around the classroom. You can look in the Springboard book. Many of the writing and literary related words are in the Springboard book. You can check your pocket dictionary. You can use Google on your Chromebook. Lots of different ways to come up with the definition. In the upper right-hand corner, you would put examples. So if your academic vocabulary word was transitions, you would put down some words or phrases that could be transitions. Things like on the other hand or therefore. In the lower left-hand corner, you're going to put some of the essential characteristics of this term, things that are always true. So again, if you're thinking about transitions, it is always true that a transition is a signal to the reader about what kind of information is going to follow. Is it going to be an example, if your transitional phrase is for example? Is it going to be a definition, if your transitional phrase is in other words? You get the idea. In the lower right-hand corner then is some of the non-essential characteristics, things that might be true about your term or examples of your term, but not necessarily true. So for example, sometimes transitions are phrases, and sometimes they are single words, but they're not always one or the other. Those are non-essential characteristics. The vocabulary from Literature Graphic Organizer in some ways is simpler, but also some ways harder. The biggest way that it's harder is because you are actually going to have to find the sentence in the literature where that word appears. That means that you have this list open while you are reading the literature, and then you can write down the sentence. For example, if your word was vicinity, you would know that you are going to go in Quest 1, Level 1, to the poem Gate A4 by Naomi Shihab Nye, where in the first stanza she writes, I heard the announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of gate A4 understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Then you put the definition. Same options for finding the definition, except these words are probably not in Springboard. Write down what the word reminds you of, and then use the word in your own sentence so that you can be sure that you're using it correctly in context. For example, if your word is vicinity, you might write a sentence like, someone in the general vicinity of this desk farted. Look, just never underestimate the power of a fart joke. At the end of every quest, you turn in your binder to me to be checked. So hey, everybody, you have a binder. Here is the deal with that. If you were here at Bayview High School last year and we have your binder from last year, you will get your binder from last year. If you are new to Bayview High School or we didn't find your binder, you will get an empty binder that you can then personalize as your own. Your Springboard book is going to go into that binder. And importantly, you are going to want to get 3 or more tab dividers. Why 3 when they're sold in packs of 5 or 8? It's not because I'm trying to be difficult. It's because there are 3 mandatory quests in every semester. So if you have 3 dividers, then you can set the information for those 3 quests into those 3 separate things. So all of the vocabulary graphic organizers that you are doing from a particular level will all go into the same section of the binder for that quest. So no matter how many different levels you do that have vocabulary, they're all in the same location. When I get your binder, then I can check those vocabularies. And by the way, if you have a really good graphic organizer, I might select yours to make a copy of and then put it up in the classroom as part of our academic word wall. If you do not have tab dividers and you are worried about it, don't. It's possible that some of your classmates bought a 5-pack and have a couple of extras. It is also possible to get tab dividers from me. They are 10 cents a piece or your set of 3 for just a quarter. Now, under most circumstances, your binder just lives on a shelf or a cart in the classroom. It's color-coded so that your binder is going to be with all of the other binders from your particular class, and it will be easy to see where your class's binder goes. At the end of the quest, you click Turn In on the final document of that quest on the classroom, and then you bring me your binder, and I will look not only at those vocabulary sheets, but any questions in the Springboard book that you were supposed to answer, any graphic organizers in the Springboard book that you were supposed to answer, but also other graphic organizers that you might have completed throughout the semester. Those will be in there as well, and I will check them at that time at the end of the quest. Now, because I'm only checking the binders once per quest, you really need to keep yourself organized. You might be working on this quest for 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, depending on how difficult it is for you, how much revision that you may want to do on particular levels before you get to the embedded assessment. So, just stay organized. Keep on top of this binder. I cannot stress how important that is, people, to keep your binder in order. And because you will be working on a quest for a long time, I do want to sort of ease your mind a little bit. In level 5, in your level 5 document, there is a complete list of everything that should be in that binder as part of the rubric. So how many vocabulary words should you have done if you want to be proficient or advanced? How many graphic organizers should you have done? What questions were you supposed to be answering in your Springboard book? That is all part of that checklist. One more thing that I recommend you keep in your binder, and that is your class syllabus. You will, of course, have read this cover to cover, and if you did read this cover to cover, you probably already understood a lot of the information that I just said in this video. But you want to keep it in here because it is a lot of important information about the class, about me, about the procedures for the class. It has, for example, my email address, the address of the channel, my YouTube channel on writing. It also has the Twitter account that you can follow. And in fact, it's probably quicker to get a hold of me if you have a question for me to tweet at me, because I will see that notification pop up on my phone. I will not necessarily see that notification pop up in an email. So That's all in here, people. You want to hang on to this and keep it. And that's it. That is pretty much everything that you need to know about your binder and about the vocabulary for English 10.